Take a deep breath. Exhale slowly. Once again, allow your mind to slow down. There's been too much noise inside you for too long. Accumulated thoughts, silent worries, fears that no one notices, tiredness that you've learned to hide even from those closest to you. But now, for a few minutes, you don't have to carry it all alone, because something important is happening right now. You didn't find this message by chance. There's a reason these words reached you right now, at this specific time in your life. Maybe everything has seemed confusing lately. Maybe you're trying to understand why certain things took so long to happen. Maybe you prayed, insisted, believed, and still felt that heaven remained silent. But listen to this carefully. God's silence never means absence. Often it means preparation. Because there are changes so big that they need to begin invisibly before they become visible. And that's exactly what's happening to you now. Take a deep breath. Exhale slowly. Can you feel it? There's something different inside you. Maybe you can't explain it yet, but you're no longer the same person you were a few months ago. There's an emotional maturity growing silently. There's a strength born from pain. There's a clarity that only appeared because certain illusions finally fell away. And even if the process was difficult, it was shaping you. People usually believe that growth happens when everything goes right, but it doesn't. The greatest growth happens in the periods when no one sees, on quiet days, on difficult nights, in the moments when you thought about giving up, but continued anyway. That's where your mind began to change. That's where your soul began to grow stronger. That's where God began to build a new version of you. Breathe again. Exhale slowly. There's a reason why certain doors closed. A reason why some people drifted away. One reason why old plans didn't happen the way you imagined. Because not everything you wanted was aligned with what you truly needed. And today you're starting to realize that some losses were blessings in disguise. Some delays were protection. Some frustrations prevented paths that would have destroyed your peace later. But you only understand certain answers after you mature emotionally. And you have matured, much more than you imagine. Observe your own mind. You no longer react as before. You no longer feel the need to prove so much. You no longer accept just any environment. You no longer give your energy to everything and everyone. That's evolution. That's discernment. That's awakening consciousness. Breathe deeply. Exhale slowly. Now pay attention to this. There's a difference between surviving and living in alignment. For a long time, perhaps you only survived. Trying to pay bills, trying to solve problems, trying to avoid emotional crises, trying to keep everything running while carrying a silent emptiness inside. But your soul grew tired of it. And this weariness didn't appear to destroy you. It appeared to push you towards transformation. Because there comes a time when the spirit no longer accepts remaining small. It no longer accepts repetitive cycles. It no longer accepts living only on autopilot. And perhaps that's exactly why you're listening to this message now. Because something inside you is awakening. Breathe again. Release slowly. The next level of your life will require a new mindset. Not based on fear, not based on scarcity, not based on constant anxiety, but based on trust, clarity, wisdom, balance, because everything that arrives without emotional structure can easily turn into chaos. That's why God works first within. First, He strengthens the mind. Then He strengthens the heart. Then He strengthens the vision. And only then does He release what you asked for. Do you realize? Perhaps the delay was never punishment. Perhaps it was preparation. Because today you would endure things that previously would have destroyed you emotionally. Today you see differently. Today you choose differently. Today you notice signs you previously ignored. This means your consciousness has changed. And when consciousness changes, reality slowly begins to follow that change. Take a deep breath. Exhale slowly. Something is being organized right now. Even if you don't see it clearly yet, connections are happening. Paths are being aligned. Opportunities are silently approaching. And most importantly, a peace is beginning to replace the fear within you. Perhaps small still, but growing. You begin to realize you don't need to control everything. You don't need to force everything. You don't need to desperately chase after every answer. Because what is truly aligned will find you at the right time, without confusion, without despair, without emotional destruction. That which comes from God brings peace, even when it demands courage. Breathe again. Release slowly. Perhaps you've spent years believing you needed to fight all the time to deserve something. Good. But listen to this carefully. You weren't born just to survive. You weren't born just to pay bills and endure pressures until the end of your life. There is purpose within you. There is dormant potential within you. There is a version of you that hasn't fully emerged yet. And it's beginning to awaken now. Pain awakened parts of you that comfort never would. Challenges revealed strengths you didn't know you had. Losses revealed maturity. Silence revealed faith. Nothing was in vain. Even the moments that seemed completely lost were building something invisible. Breathe deeply. Let go slowly. Now imagine your life some time from now. Imagine looking back and realizing that this was exactly the period when everything began to change. Not explosively, but profoundly. First the mind changed. Then the decisions changed. Then the environments changed. Then opportunities began to appear. And then your entire reality began to enter a new flow, because that's how true transformations happen. They begin silently, like seeds growing underground. No one sees it at first, but the growth has already begun. And when the right moment arrives, nothing can stop what was prepared in the invisible. Breathe again. Let go slowly. You no longer need to carry the guilt for everything. You no longer need to punish yourself for past mistakes. You no longer need to believe you wasted too much time. The past taught what it needed to teach. Now there is a new cycle before you. And this new cycle will require courage to abandon old versions of yourself. Versions that lived in fear. Versions that accepted less than they deserved. Versions that diminished themselves to fit into small spaces. You no longer belong in those places. Your soul knows this. That's why certain connections no longer make sense. That's why certain environments have begun to bother you. That's why you feel the urge to profoundly change your life. It's not madness. It's alignment. Breathe deeply. Release slowly. Now just remain in this state for a few moments. Without haste. Without anxiety. Without needing to understand everything immediately. Just allow this truth to find space within you. Something is changing. Something is aligning. Something is approaching. And for the first time in a long time, you can already feel it even before you see it.